Test, test, test. Yeah, that's how professional the stream is. And so we start with no sound. That makes sense. So I've been talking for like forever. And now it's like, I don't know what the hell I'm like. It's like nobody heard what I was saying. What a professional streamer I am. I'm going to leave that in, like, right? So when people join the channel, they'll be like, dude, that dude was muted. By the way, let me know if things are working now as expected. Yeah. I also like was having music on that I'm not playing. There you go. Now music is playing. This is great. I think we're in business. We're back. What a great start to a stream where I'm already failing miserably. But anyway, so here we go. Let's try this again. Yeah, I'm kind of curious here. I think like profiles, I have the authorization token. Let me just do something here just to, why is it complaining? Result, okay, not found. Try user profile. Okay, now it's fine. And then if I put the, oh crap. Now I gotta get my user document ID. Profile, profiles. User profile files. I can't spell. Dude, I'm so tired today, but I was like, I need to get into a habit of streaming. And so I'm just gonna stream regardless if it's like a massive fail or success, which I don't mind. I'm already like failing, so it's okay. Let's try this again. Send, send, send. I am kind of curious what the hell is happening now. I know profiles status okay. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening with oh, I don't have auto save. I have to click Control S to save. Okay, I got it. It's fine. Anyway, it's fine. So let me get this user document ID, copy, and so if we get the profile with this ID, something's funky is happening with the Postman. Like I literally have to copy, send. Maybe it's because I'm not saving the request. So in theory, like what this needs to do here, it doesn't return. So right now it's returning an array, but it's supposed to return. Yeah, something's up with Postman here. Request to like Postman doesn't like me today. But anyway, the point is, when we make a request, I'll kind of just for the sake of it, I don't know why Postman is not liking me. I'm gonna go to providers, roles, users permission. I'm gonna make the user profile kind of public for now, just to kind of test it. I'm having like, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So I should be able to go to this endpoint, HTTPS localhost, and if I go to that endpoint, I should see my users, and if I go to slash and pass the ID, it should be using document ID. Maybe it's complaining something else. Yes, so here it should return an object. So I'm kind of like curious what the hell is happening with my Postman, and we'll take a look and see why it doesn't like me, because it should be returning singular. Let me save this. Maybe it just doesn't like create collection. Create collection, I'm just gonna call it cat, and let's click enter. Create collection. Yeah, that's what the hell. Save, create collection. Okay, name of your collection, cat. It's doing something. Okay, Okay. So we have a collection, add a request to start working, get request. Dude, are you kidding me? I have to do this again. HTTPS localhost. Okay, this is where I name it, get profile. I don't know. I'm like on a new computer, so I'm like trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Click send. All right, now it's working as expected. I don't know why it wasn't working before, like where it's like, oh, okay, because I had to save it. Anyway, so now you could see that we are getting our user, and when we pass the ID of the user, we're able to get the user ID. So here's the issue that I'm trying to solve first here, is that if in my Strapi application, if I go to home, I'm too zoomed in, go to content manager, go to user profile. Let's say if we have a new user profile, I'm going to say dummy user because that's me, whatever. And we're just going to say test user, publish. So we have this dummy user, and let me go to settings here, roles. Just for now, we have this fine endpoint. Okay, I published my dummy user. Okay, so now if I just get all the users, right, it's going to return the array of all the users. So it has my user, Paul Vasovsky, and it has dummy user. So this is not good. Like, I mean, like if we're going to have public profiles, right, it's fine. If your profile is public, it should return it here, which we have to implement, which we're not going to do first. But because I could just disable this endpoint, let me just copy this document ID. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disable in Strapi that endpoint, user profile, so you can't get all the users. So if I run this request, what are you talking? What are you talking? Send. Dude, I'm very disappointed right now in Postman. Something's up with Postman because it's not working as it intended. So let me just delete this, click send, and try again, send. Dude, do I have, hold on a second. Did I save? Let me do this. Let me restart the application. I'm kind of curious what is happening. Things are not happening like they're supposed to. So we'll restart our application, try this again. So back in Postman, we make the request. Oh, I think I know what's happening. And this is kind of like, if I go to my Strapi application, right? And I think I know what's happening. This is not, and I go to settings, go to API tokens. Yeah, so automatically, like when you start Strapi, I think I created this just to test stuff as public. And so what's happening, I think I'm using the public token, and that's why I'm able to get all the users. So let me disable this because I don't want you to be able to get users publicly. And we don't want to use this token. And so if I resend the what, listen there, listen here. What is happening? It's either Postman caching the response or something is weird happening. This is not supposed to happen. Not supposed to happen. If I stop Strapi, okay, that's a good sign. I start Strapi. I'm having like issues today. I'm literally failing on stream. Like this is like the fail stream if you were to watch one, because I'm having issues with my tools. Like this, where is this coming from? Why is this working? It's not supposed to work. So not now. So let's do this. Let's go here. I'm like stumped because I have no idea what I'm gonna delete this completely, so I'm less confused. Then I'm gonna go to roles, public. I'm gonna check that user profile. Okay, I had a public access. I don't need public access. Save. It's okay. We're gonna figure it out. And then we're gonna go to roles. We just want authenticated, and we just want to find one, like, and find. Let's test it. So now I go here. I click send. Forbidden error. That makes sense. We have to pass the correct token. So if I go here now in my Next.js application, inspect, console. I'm gonna log out again. Log out. Sign in again. Okay, I think we're making progress. Okay, fine. This is good. That's interesting. We will figure that out later. Okay, that's fine. So let's look and see if we could grab our token. Applications. Dude, this is definitely going to be like a bad, I failed at everything, miserable stream, which is okay. You need to, that happens to the best of us, I think. Well, let's, let me grab this whole token. All right. And maybe I'll start crying during the stream. It's possible. All right, so let's go to authorization. We want to put bearer token. We want to paste it in here, and then we want to send. Missing or invalid credentials. Dude, I'm about to. User profiles. Which token are we setting? You know what? I'm gonna look at what in code, because I think, let's go to cat client source. Let's go to lib. Let's go to utils. Actually, let's go to here. Go services, user. This is where we response. Okay. Get auth token. Let me do console log auth token. This is a goddamn token that I need right now. I'll figure it out. I just, like, the funny thing is, like, I broke a bunch of things in my app, and then I'm using a new computer, so I don't think I pulled the latest changes. And now I'm like, what is happening? But we'll figure it out one step at a time. Like, you all probably want to see someone cry and struggle, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to cry and struggle. So this is the get user me loader. So this should get fired when I refresh this. I refreshed it. Sign out. Sign in. Something's weird happening here. This is like the weirdest thing. It's like my computer doesn't like me today. So let's figure this. Let's figure that. Why does it? Hold on a second. Let me go to console log here. Console log here. Refresh. I'm in the console. Oh, you mother. Dude, this is why you guys need and girls need to get sleep. I am like an idiot trying to figure out what is going on. I'm in the deployed project. I need to check this in local host here. Oh my God. No wonder half the stuff didn't work. I wasn't grabbing the right token. I was doing, you know what? If you laugh at me, with me, this is kind of like a great example why you shouldn't code when you're tired. And the point here is like I need to get into streaming schedule. I need to keep up. And so I'm gonna stream Wednesdays. I do vibe coding streaming where I just vibe code and try to build stuff. And then like on Fridays, I try to work in this project. So I kind of broke some stuff. So the reason why this is not working right now is because the way my application is set up, if I remember correctly, is to get all of our data. I have the Strapi SDK, and Strapi SDK requires a Strapi API key. Because I deleted it earlier, that's what we were using to get public data, it is now failing miserably. So what I need to do is go on Strapi again, go to settings, and I need to create an API token, and I'm going to call this public. So this is for all the public stuff. And right now, we're just going to say for public, just to keep it simple, we'll do read only. No, we'll do custom because unlimited, because I want you to be able to find the courses, get the navigation data, get the homepage data, okay. Lessons, for now, just keep it here. We just don't want to get the user profile because we want you to only see user profile if you are authenticated. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to generate my stupid token. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go into my .env file. And this is fine because this is all local. And I'm going to replace my Strapi API key. Okay, so that's fine. Because I did that and I saved it, now my application works. I'm able to get the rest of my data. So we're back to square one where we're working on going and sign in. Once we sign in, we're getting our user data. And so now what I want to do is I want to make sure that if I'm logged in as Paul, I should only be able to get Paul's data, right? I shouldn't be able to get like that test user that I made. So we should be able to go back, dude. And I'm so like embarrassed that the reason I was messing up is because I was not working in my local host environment to see the changes, but I was looking in like production, which is like insanely silly mistake to make. Happens to the best of us. I'd like to say that to make myself feel better. So now we should be able to, yep, so we see our goddamn token here, which is what we need to make authorized request. I'm gonna copy this token. I could also remove the console log later. By the way, let me zoom out a little bit so you could see clearer. So we're making progress. It's started really bad. I forgot to turn my mic on. So I stream in complete silence like a maniac. And then now we wanna go and get our profiles. We wanna update our token. Click send. Nice. So now we're able to get all the profiles that are authorized. So now what I want to do is I want to go here. That still, hold on a second. Go to roles, go to authenticated, user profile, disable find, and god damn it, it better not find me any users. And click send. And it says forbidden, no users found. Thank God I didn't completely lose my mind yet, like I'm losing it on the stream today. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and put the ID of the profile. So let me go to here. So user profile. So we have Paul's profile, which we have the ID here. And so here's the thing, like if I put Paul's profile here and click send, oh, did I not enable it? Your token. That should be fine. No, that's still something weird happening with my, no, don't enable dictation, not now. Setting, roles, authenticated, user profile, find one, save. There's still something weird happening. But anyway, like there's another way I could show this. Hold on a second. Why is it having issues? So I have the correct token. This is the goddamn token I need. Dude, I gotta fix my dev environment. This is like not a brand new computer, but I just recently set up a new dev environment, and I'm kind of like not sure why. Beer token, API profiles, you pass the ID sent. It says forbidden. It shouldn't say forbidden unless I didn't save, because user profile, roles, authenticated. Oh my goodness. I see what I'm doing. So I fundamentally have to fix something here. It's just me being clever. And so that's okay. And if it's confusing, because it is confusing, because I'm definitely just doing things that I didn't think about through first. I just started doing them. And so the reason why it's failing is because I'll fix that later, but for now, we're gonna figure it out. Oh man, that's not a simple, straightforward solution. I was trying to be clever, and so we have to fix some stuff. Oh, I don't know if I want to do this in the stream. So here's the issue that I'm getting, and hopefully you could follow along. So I decided to use so Strapi has Strapi SDK that I'm using here, but that shouldn't matter. Hold on a second, let me think through. So this is fine because I'm here. I'm using get user me loader, and I'm making a request to get my user, but then I'm using get user by profile ID. We're getting the token. We're passing the token. And we're getting the user. So like I don't see it. So this should be fine. Okay, so this is fine. I think it's something just weird happening with my with Postman. Okay, let me restart my application. Something weird is happening. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we go to our profile. Now it's not found. So what the hell am I doing with my life? So do you ever code sometimes, and sometimes you just like need to go take a walk because that's the smartest thing to do because you just did too many stupid things, and now you're kind of like trying to backpedal to figure out why? And like the smartest thing would be like to take a walk. So we are getting the token. What are we getting here for the response? So this is get off like console.dir data. Where's it? Depth null. I think that's correct. Yeah. And so we are getting the user. Okay. That's working. So we know we have the user. So now let's figure out here. So we're Getting the ID. What is this? I need to do this. I should probably like set breakpoints. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Like, back in the day when I first started learning how to code, I worked at this company. We, set breakpoints for everything, and we did this stuff. Now I just console log everything and do it in the most ridiculous ways, like I do here, just so I could see stuff. What is this? Get user profile by ID loader. That should work. That should get the ID, and then I should be able to see the data here. And let's go back and try this again. Refresh. Page is not found, which is kind of annoying because the page worked. Localhost, dashboard profile. I don't know why I'm doing that. So let's go. So today is going to be just me suffering, crying, and like breaking the app. So we have profile. We go to page. Let's look at the stupid function that I have. So if no profile user ID, I'm returning not found. That's what's probably causing me redirect to that not found page. But why is it not showing profile user ID? So let me just kind of get user me loader was working. I think also because I broke my types. Let's console cookies. Console. What are you doing here? Sometimes you just have to like troubleshoot from the beginning and try to figure out what the hell is happening. Console log the response. So we are getting data. Okay, so we're making some progress. So we're getting the user, but we're not getting profile ID because I don't see the user profile ID here. So I did break something. So let's go back to my get user me loader. I am asking for the user profile. You got, let me console log this. Oops. Something somewhere is weird. This is definitely like the crying stream. Okay, so we're not getting this from Strapi because Strapi, to get this data, you need to enable that API endpoint, which I disabled the find method, and that's why it doesn't exist. So when I add the find method, this should work. And sometimes like you need to make stupid mistakes so you could like think through stuff. And that's how you kind of learn, is to you try all the different options and you kind of see like what the hell is happening. So I need to go here and go to user profile, and I have to enable the find method. And this is actually going to be very important because now like what we need to do is we have no option. We have to create a policy that basically says if you are the logged in user, only return your user profile, which we haven't set that up right now. And that's why we're able to get all the profiles when we make a public request in Postman. So if I go to Postman now, get profile, and I just get profiles, right? Notice how I'm getting, why are you not making it pretty? What Postman is just like dropping the ball. Like this needs to be formatted nicer. Like pretty, make it pretty. You're not making it pretty. But anyway, if you see here, we have our Paul Bratz user, and then we have our dummy user. So we're getting all the users. But if I'm logged in as Paul, I should only return Paul user. Okay, so that's fine. Now that we're going to deal with that later. Now that we enable that endpoint though, notice that now, if I scroll down enough, let's try this in our application. Yeah, and I'm sorry if today's stream is boring. It happens most of the time. Most of the time, my streams are boring, but it's okay because I'm trying to make progress. Yeah. So now we're getting a user. Okay. So that is fine. Like we'll do one step at a time and fix one thing at a time. So now, right now, like what I want to show you here though is notice I am Paul Bratz and I'm getting Paul Bratz. Okay, people will be like, well, that makes sense. That should make sense. But if I go here and I take this dummy user document ID and I go to my application and I go into my, let's see here. We want to go into our profile, get user by ID loader, and let's say for the profile user ID, I just pass that ID of another user. And look what happens. I am logged in as Paul, but I'm getting the data for another user. And that's not good. That's not supposed to happen. And so we need to fix that. And so the way we're going to fix it, we're going to create a, we could, in Strapi and in general in like backend, you could make policies or you could make a middleware. So if I go to strapi.io, docs, and I ask anything, what is Strapi middleware or a policy? We're gonna, so middleware and policies and Strapi, middleware configuration, route middleware, that's what we want. There was a, didn't take me to it. Yeah, so basically, whenever you have a request, in Strapi, there's global middleware, but that's not what we're gonna like think about. When you hit a route, for instance, we're hitting our user profiles route, before it hits the controller, which does something, get the data from your database, there's a route policy, and then there's route middleware. If we use the route policy, which might be like route policy, for instance, it's just going to say either return the data or don't return the data, but you can't modify the data. In a middleware, you could still check like if the user is like authenticated and you're the user who owns that, owns the resource, you could return the resource, but you could also modify the response. And so in this case, like I could go with route policy, but I do want to eventually modify the response because like I do like in my Strapi application, as you could see here, if we go to user, we have is public or not public. So I do want to make sure like if you set this to public, it can return some of the data. And if you just use the policy, just like kind of yes or no. But with the middleware, we have a little bit more flexibility. And we're going to go with the middleware. So we know that we have a user profile and we have a couple of different like routes. We have find one, create, delete, update. So we're going to create a middleware that runs. We'll start with find one for now, and then we'll just do one step at a time. But basically, what we want to create a middleware where we check if the user profile is the user's profile. By the way, if you want to check out like a cool tutorial on building Next.js with Strapi, I wrote an article like a while back. It's using Next.js 15 and Strapi 5, and I wrote like this whole huge article series here. I'll put it in the chat. Even though like it says it's written in 2024, I updated everything to use Strapi 5 and Next.js 15. So the article should be up to date, but this will teach you like everything you need to know to kind of get started with Strapi and Next.js. And I really like this article because a lot of times I forget stuff and I'm like, I'm going to use it as a resource. And so here I kind of had a similar thing where I wanted to create a policy to kind of be like, hey, if the thing doesn't belong to you, don't show it. And I'm gonna use this as reference because, by the way, people ask me, why the hell do you write blog posts? It's just because so I could use it as notes for myself later in the future. So in Strapi, we're able to generate a middleware or policy using the CLI command. So that's something we're gonna do like right now. So I'm gonna do it. Do I have like a nicer terminal? Control C. Clear. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna CD into my cat server, which is my Strapi backend, and I'm gonna run yarn Strapi, I can't spell, Strapi generate. And then this is gonna run our CLI command where I'm able to generate either a policy or a middleware. We decided that we're going to go with a middleware. We could also go with the policy. So like I said, in the future, let's look back here through the documentation. I love reading documentation. It's good to use AI for everything, but sometimes you just need to like look at the documentation and use some thinking muscles to kind of think about stuff. So middleware customization, content, REST API, endpoints, right? Endpoints? No, local. Document service API, populate. Middlewares. Document service middlewares. Where's my policies? But anyway, yeah, it's fine. This is different. Let me ask AI here. Strapi routes middleware versus policy. And again, policy is basically going to say yes or no, but middleware, you're able to kind of update and change and modify the response. So in our case, I think middleware would be more appropriate, but I'm going to look at my documentation here just to kind of take a look and actually show some examples. If it'll ever, my internet is just like literally sleeping today. It's like decided to be like, hey, whatever. Dude, I gotta tell the team to be like, what are you doing here? Like, you gotta make this bigger. In Strapi, both route middleware and policies are mechanisms to control the flow and access of requests, but they serve different purposes. Purpose of policies are primarily used for access control and validation. They're read-only, exactly. So that's kind of what's mentioning. So like read-only means like it's either gonna say, yes, you could do something, or you can't do something, but it's not gonna like, so if it's like, yes, you meet the policy, it's going to let you continue. And if not, it's going to kind of block you from doing it. So we could actually get away with using a policy. But we're still going to go with the middleware because middleware allows you to like modify the response. And that's something that I know I'm going to need in the future. So we're going to start with that. So route middleware more general purpose and can modify the request. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. And that's something that I will need to be able to do in the future to kind of have a little more flexibility. So this is what we're going to go with. And for now, I'm just going to like start basic. So we're going to create a middleware. And I'm going to do, I'm going to call it user profile. Should I put middleware in the name? Middleware? Or should I just say user profile? Because it's going to be in a, I'm going to say user profile. Yeah, I'm going to say user profile. Keep it simple. And we want to put it in an existing API because we already have user profile endpoint right here. And it's going to go ahead and generate the middleware. So now when I'm back in VS Code here, and I go to the server, the Strapi folder, we have our source, we have our API, and we have our user profile, and boom, here's our middleware. So this middleware runs every time, well, it's going to run every time we hit the route. Right now, like let me put a big old console log here. Oh, well, we already have console log here, but just so it's much easier to find, I like to do this just because you know, it's Friday night. It's after work. I don't have to make sense. You know what I mean? I just have to try things. That's why I love coding. It's like you just try stuff, break things, fail miserably, and then you try to kind of figure out like what's going on. And so that's kind of like what we're doing here today. So we have user profile middleware. So in order to get this middleware to register, because right now nothing's going to happen, we actually need to go in our routes, user profile, and I believe this takes an object, and it's config. Thank you, TypeScript. And I think we have find. And this takes an object, and it has middlewares. And it takes an array of the name of the middlewares. And we could also do policies, the same thing. We also want to do the same thing for find one. I'm just going to copy this. And by the way, in Strapi, if you want to kind of find the name of the middleware, I think you could run yarn Strapi middlewares.list. I believe that's the command. And here we have our API users profile, user profile. So we have our middleware here. I'm going to copy the name. I'm going to paste it in here. And so now basically what we're telling this route is like, hey, if it's a find route or find one, go ahead, trigger this middleware. And in theory, like we should be able to see the console log. Let me move my face to this side. And so if I go ahead and refresh, everything works as expected, but we should at least now be hitting the middleware. And here you could see we are hitting the middleware. So what we want to do now is we want to get the logged in user. And then what we want to do is we want to get and check if the user profile exists and if it equals to the owner that's logged in, and then we return the appropriate thing. And it's going to follow the similar logic that I did in this previous blog post. And so we're not going to pass any parameters from the front end because we already, like if you're logged in into Strapi, you're going to have access to the user. And so we don't want the front end to pass anything in. We just want to check. And we're going to have the user ID by able to access the user from the context in Strapi. So if you're logged in, something's going to be there. And we should be able to get user's document ID that we're going to use to kind of find our user. So I'm going to go ahead for now and just paste it in here. And I'm just going to console log the user for now. Dude, isn't coding fun? Like I struggled so much today. I cried. And now I'm like slowly making progress. This is like amazing. So we refresh. We should be able to look at our console. Strapi has been shut down. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's refresh. Go to profile. Yeah, so notice we are getting a bunch of user information. We're getting the user ID, we're getting user email, we're getting username. And so, okay. And so now what we want to do is return the profile. I'm kind of curious like why it doesn't show the relationships. That's kind of like it's not that annoying, but it's all right. So we have the user ID, we have the user document ID. So yeah, I'm kind of curious like if there's a, so the issue here right now is if you take a look in our Strapi instance and we go to our user has a user profile that's associated with it. And so we need to be able to get the user profile. And I don't, so let me go to Strapi docs. Using Strapi document service to get user data. What is it gonna say? User debt. We'll see. I just wanna, I think for tonight it'll be like great success if I'm able to get this done and get this blocked. So yeah, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to get user. We know we have the ID. I already, so you should be able to use find. I have the user ID and just want to look up by user ID. I think it's just find one. I think that's the method. And what I love about this, like, yeah, people are like, oh, you're using AI. No, like this is just like semantic search to allow you to find the stuff in the docs much easier. And it just shows you here the link to the docs. So we basically need to do this. And so we have the user ID. And so we need to find one where document ID equals, dude, relax here, relax there. I'm like, I don't know. And we want to pass the user ID and then you're probably wondering, why am I doing this a second time? And the reason is because I need to get access to the relationship, how to populate data on user. So I'm gonna call this user data so it doesn't complain. And the way I like to code stuff, I like to make things work first. Console log user data, and then like we refactor and make it nice and clean. And notice I'm not like, yeah. So find one document. Find one document ID. I don't know, that's for me. Wait, is that seem correct? Because I thought you just passed the ID. Anyway, let's console log user data and see what the hell we get. User data. You know, one step at a time. And I hope that like the struggle is real coding, and sometimes like you have days where you just struggle with the dumbest things possible. That's kind of like for me. And I think that's the beauty of coding, is that the fact is that the whole idea is that you're going to be doing something and things are not going to go your way and things are going to break and things are not going to like you. And it's just like, it is what it is. But what I like about this is that that's the fun part, is trying to figure out where did you mess up so badly, and that you have to go fix stuff. So notice on user data, we're getting the same thing as we were getting before. Slightly different because, so this here, by the way, this user, and this is why it's different, is because it's coming from the Strapi like contacts where we have access to the logged in user, and it has additional information like the roles. And this is definitely not the stuff that I want to expose to the front end, because you see you have the authenticated, you have all this, like whatever, you have all this additional information. But if I just get the user, I just get the username, email, and some basic information. And so the only thing I need to return here is I need to return the profile ID. And in order to return it, like it's not found here in the response, is because I have to populate it. I have to tell Strapi, hey, get the user ID. And the reason why, like, people do that stuff where it's like, oh, you have to tell the thing that you want to populate, is because you want to kind of have a way to keep the response object only give you the data that you want, similar like GraphQL, where you ask for the specific things that you need. And we kind of have the similar thing at Strapi, where you kind of have to say, this is what I want to populate. This is a different one. I forgot what I was using. Can be used instead of ID. Find one. Document service API. You gotta just like sometimes look at the documentation. So document ID. So find one is passed without any parameter. So if only a document ID is passed without any other parameters, find returns the draft version of document. But okay. Find one, we pass document ID. So I think what we could do is name, publish that. That's interesting. Find first. Strapi and find first. Publish locale. Filters. So I think we could pass populate. So I was kind of doing something similar in my front end. So I'm saying here, populate user profile, return the document ID field. So let's try that. So in our user profile middleware, wait a second, why can't I do this? Maybe I just say this, but that makes no sense. But we'll try it. We will explore. But that makes no sense. Find one, user profile field. Strapi documents plugin. That's definitely not the right way to do it. Find many filters. Let's look up through our documentation, see what's up. Strapi documents that we have find many, populate. Find many. But that's what we're doing. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're doing. What the hell are you complaining about? So we were doing populate. So like, so we passed the document ID. I did say populate. You all saw me. And then we want to populate. Oh, wait a second. No. Like, so. No way. Hold on a second. Populate. User profile. Why is it now not complaining? And then we have fields. Dude, I swear to God, I'm so tired. Like, I swear to God, like, this is exactly what I. Oh, no, there's something weird happening. Plugin doc fields. No, okay, no, it's document ID. Let me just, for user profile, let me just do something stupid because maybe there's something weird happening and that's okay. Weird populate all. Maybe there's a, dare to say it, a bug, because God forbid, like, I don't make mistakes all the time. So let's check it out, see what's going on. By the way, if anybody has questions, you could always ask, because otherwise I'm gonna cry and suffer through all the air. Today was like ridiculous. Was like, I broke so many things at the same time that it was not working for me. Yeah, so we do have user profile here. I don't understand why, and it might be like in theory, you should be able to say, instead of doing and using the kind of like that operator, the wildcard operator, you should be user profile. And you should be able to say fields. And in fields, it takes an array of the fields that you want to display. And for user profile, I want to display document ID, but it's complaining. So, but if I do like populate true, it's not going to complain. And it's probably going to work. And so if that works, but the other way doesn't work, it's not a big bug, it's a little bug. Yeah, and it worked. So I should be able to specify the document field, but it's not letting me. User profile, true. Or do I have to do this? No, I should be able to do fields. It's right there. And I should be able to pass an array of fields. But something's broken. You know what? For us, though, I'll make a bug report. We'll deal with it later. But for now, this is fine, because all we need to do is we need to get our... We have to get this. We need to, yeah, it's fine. I could delete this. We getting user data. We're gonna say const, and we're gonna call it, what are we gonna call it? User profile. Equals, let's do const user profile ID equals user data dot, what was it? I can't spell. User data dot user profile dot document ID, and then we need, so we have this, and right now if, and then yes, okay, so let's, next we need to basically look through our yep, remove this, that's fine. So we could remove this, we don't need that. We're getting the user data. That's the user profile. We have the user profile ID. And then we need to get, I honestly, I could have made this some middleware. But it's fine. I mean, policy, but we're gonna keep it the same. So now that we have the user ID, and if there is no, yep. And so let's see here, document app, you find one, document entry. I'm just looking at this example entry, this query. Slightly different from what we are doing. So now we have to get the user profile. So we're gonna await Strapi dot documents, and what we want to get. What are you complaining? It's not assignable to. What are you complaining about? Documents. I think it's gonna be API user profile. I don't remember the naming convention. I think it's API user profile dot user profile dot user profile dot find. Since you're gonna use this in a bunch of places, so we could, yeah, we're gonna say find one because we want to find one. Wait, what am I doing here? User profile Strapi. We are doing Strapi dot documents. Dude, what are you talking about right now? Filters. Where I think I should filters, and I should be able to say document ID is user profile ID. I don't know why this is going to find one filters. Oh no, like because I'm not. No, I'm doing it wrong. You don't filter because we only want to return one. User profile, API user profile, type of user profile, use not assigned to type, content type. What are you talking about? For me, plugin users permission. No, yeah, we want to get user profile, I'm pretty sure that's the way. Whenever you're not sure about something in Strapi, you should be able to look it up. Clear, let me go here, clear. Yarn Strapi list. I think it's collection types list. No, not collection type list. Nope. Yarn Strapi help. No, I need to do clear yarn Strapi list help, I think. And you have to spell Strapi correctly. Strapi. Middleware's policies, routes, services, controllers, content types. Okay, I'm an idiot. That's not camel toe. Camel toe. Yeah, camel case. Jesus Christ. I didn't sleep enough last night. But I was committed to streaming today, knowing that it's going to be miserable. But you know what? It's better to to do it. Yeah, Strapi content types list. So we have API. Oh, it's okay. I see that. Did you see my mistake I was making? That's ridiculous, Paul. I was putting 1:, but it's 2. So I just needed this. And all of a sudden it works. And then let's console.log user profile. Dude, I just want this to work. I'll refactor it later. I just want it to be like, don't let me get what constant wait next. What are you talking about? What are you complaining about now? What do you wait? You can't complain. Try again. Okay, then scroll down enough. So let's go. Let's go here. Refresh. I'm still getting the wrong user. You see here? That's fine. We'll fix it later. Because we want to. Okay, so boom, we found the user data here. And so we want to say basically say if user not found, we want to say you can't access this entry. So let's do that. If no user profile, we're gonna say return unauthorized, you can't access this entry. So things should still work as expected. Let me restart. Come on, we could do this. I could do this, Seth. We could do this. We're almost done with at least this part. So okay. Let's see here. This is fine. User profile document ID, that's fine. We're finding user profile. We're saying if there is no user profile, we're getting the user profile. So since it exists, so now that's fine. What the hell am I doing in my front end now? I think there's somewhere I was hard coding something. I gotta fix the type stuff that I'll do later. Just wanna, what is this? ID, okay. User profile, page. So I was hard coding it here. So we don't wanna hard code it here, but get user profile by ID. We're passing the ID. Oh wait, dude, literally need sleep. I totally stupid. It's okay. 2 minutes. So because what we're doing is we are passing the ID in the query. And so this thing that I did here, where I'm getting the user and then I'm getting document from the logged in user and returning the thing, that's not what I want to check. I want to check that the ID that we're passing from the params and we want to check that the entry ID. So I don't need to do this. Wait, I actually don't need to do this. I'm gonna do this. I think I need to do is if entry ID is not equal to user profile ID. Oh wait, it's this. And then that should be it. Because all I'm checking is to see if the logged in user and their profile ID, is it equal to the profile ID that we're passing? Yeah, so I did a bunch of unnecessary stuff just to know that that's not what I need to do. Yeah, so notice now, like I'm getting null. I obviously I will have to do better error handling here, but notice we getting, look at this, we're getting our error that says unauthorized error, you cannot access this entry. And the reason why this is happening is because I'm passing, like I have two user profiles. This user profile is associated with me, the user who's logged in. And I have this other profile for a different user, and because I'm trying to get a profile for a different user, our middleware is working as expected. So we don't need this stuff here. So I was just kind of like, I'm too tired. I need to sleep tonight for sure. So now if I want this to work in my front end, where I was, where was I? Now I have to find what, yeah. So now here, instead of hard coding this, the wrong ID, I just passed up profile user ID. And now, boom, we have it. So nice. So I have to write better error handling. Jesus, today's stream was so rough for me today. But again, I just want to be consistent, stream every Friday. So I'm going to stream building this project every Friday, 8 p.m. CST time to about 9:30 to about this time. And then on Wednesdays, I started like a new stream where all I do is vibe code. I just use AI and we're just building weird stuff. But I'm trying to, on Wednesdays, write no code without using AI. And then on Friday, notice that I use AI just to look up documentation to ask questions in Strapi website, but I'm not using any AI. Like I don't have AI enabled here. So I've been trying to kind of find two different times where I'm coding with AI and where I'm coding without AI, and kind of make it like a habit where, you know, not to rely on always coding with AI. And I think that's one of the reasons I actually do find myself being rusty, because like I've been using cursor too much, bro, let me tell you. And so like sometimes you just got to be like, listen, stop it, Paul, don't use cursor all the time. And so now that that works, we just have to handle the errors just to double check. If I pass a weird entry, we got nothing. And if because our middleware works, nice. And so next step would be to probably handle this error much better if you do have an error. But typically you're not going to have an error, because the chances of this happening like are slim to nothing, because we're using Next.js. And so in code, we're passing the profile ID like on the server when we're logged in. So unless someone hard codes a weird value here, and they have our API token, it's going to be very hard. But just in case they go into Postman, for instance, right? Because that is a thing. So get profile. So check this out. So I'm authorized as me, Paul Braslavsky. And let me just copy this to a different screen. So I have, actually, like it's fine. If I do that ID for Paul Braslavsky, this is now our like API is protected, but like we still have to do it for find all. But if I do Paul Braslavsky, and let me just copy this document ID that I'm going to try later, and I click send, we get the data for Paul Braslavsky. But if I do any other random user, it's the reason why this is not failing. Wait a second. Why is it not, you know, we have, dude, I think something's up with the freaking like, with Postman here, because I was having earlier problems with it. Profiles, X document ID. Let's see what we're getting, because that should fail. I spoke too soon. I mean, we're pretty much not getting the issue. No, yeah, something's weird happening with yeah, this is weird. Like in Postman, definitely something with like my configurations messed up, because it was working in code. Anyway, so if it works in code, it's fine. I'll just don't want to think too much about it. So anyway, like if you stuck around for like way too long and watching me painfully code, like thank you. I really appreciate the love. If you stopped in for a little bit and didn't ask any questions, that's okay too. I just like to code and learn things as I fail miserably. And the reason why I do that is because there's too many like developers who build things and everything's like perfect. They don't make any mistakes. They're a 10x developer. And in reality, when you're building things, like weird things happen. Like today, like the whole stream was just a bunch of weird stuff happening. And you as a developer try to find your bearings and try to figure out, like take a step back. Honestly, like what I should have done is not go through the process of forcing myself to code when you're not feeling it, right? Sometimes the best thing you could do is to get up, take a walk, go for a walk, come back and look at the code. And this is why like we made progress, and I'm gonna stop here just so I could sleep and come back with a fresh set of eyes, look at all this code, and I'll have like a better like perspective after taking a break. And that would be like the takeaway today. But I do want to just stream consistently every Friday, regardless, how I feel, because I'll feel up to it the more I make it a habit. And I also want to get into the context of like where I start coding without using AI tools for the time being. Oh no worry. Like you don't have to apologize. Sorry I couldn't sit and chat today. Like it's fine. Like to me, like I'll stream regardless. You know me. That's how I do it. I stream no matter what. But the thing I was going to say is, by the way, I also wonder what's the delay when people leave the comments and then I answer it, and then you're going to hear the answer probably like a minute and a half from now, or not a minute. I'm sure there's like some sort of minor like delay for live stream. But anyway, the point is that like I want to get back into a habit of not using cursor or AI tools at least all the time, because one of the things I've noticed is you actually do forget the most basic things, and then it just takes some, like you kind of have to like jump back into it and do it. And so like I heard others say the same thing, and one of my friends and his company, like they have people who are so reliant on using their tools like cursor or whatever, that they actually just trust blindly what the tools say, and they're making mistakes. And kind of like today, this is why I set up the second like computer environment, which doesn't really have any of the AI tools. I'm trying to code without using AI, and because I was literally for past 2 weeks using cursor like all the time, I literally feel a little bit dumber. I think as developers, it's very important for us to find this balance where we kind of understand that these tools are here to help us and they're tools, but not be reliant on them like 100% of the time. But anyway, this is where I'm gonna kind of like end today. And with that being said, I will be streaming Wednesday, 8 p.m. CST time, where we are going to vibe code, because sometimes you just need to vibe code. But I also empower and implore you, those of you who have been using like AI tools like nonstop, take a break and give yourself some time where you're trying to code without using AI tools, and you're sitting and you're wrestling with the problem. You're thinking through what are the steps. Like today, it was like a miserable stream today. I made so many stupid mistakes, but then kind of stopping, pausing, and being like, where's the mistake happening? Go step by step. Go through your code. Where is this being called? Okay, is it here? Perfect. Now let's move on to the next step. And kind of like reminding yourself, that one of the most important skills that as developers we need to maintain is our ability to problem solve on our own. But anyway, I want to thank you all for hanging out, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.